All right, guys, we need to stop fucking around and we need a strat now.
Well, call something.
I'm not gonna call a strat. I'm more of a complain about something, give no solutions type of guy.
Ah, yes. Nice. Very helpful. Not annoying at all. Hey, Brim. You got any ideas?
Rush A.
You know what?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, right?
I don't think this is gonna go bad.
I'm flashing. I'm flashing.
Flash.
Doggy,
flash.
doggy.
Call your flash. Call your flash.
Oh, wait, he's there?
Why are you calling your flash?
That was a terrible idea.
Well, if you have a better idea, please enlighten us.
No.
Well, now what?
Rush B.
That's a crazy idea. But crazy enough? I think it might just...
What the Sigma?
You guys are actually garbage. This is my ult, so you guys are lucky I don't care about my RR.
You're bottom fragging in silver. You call this an alt?
Dude, I'm not even trying, so shut up, all right? And on top of that, this Brim sucks even more than I do.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna tell Riot you hurt my feelings.
Well, now that he's gone, let's try to split up here and find where their Opper and Cypher is. And once we know where those two are, we could probably...
What just happened? Son of a bitch.
What is an IGL? Over many different competitive games that involve team play, each team has an appointed IGL, an in-game leader. The purpose of this IGL is to lead the team through the match to reach the ultimate goal of winning the game. In my experience from the teams I've been a part of, I've seen a lot of IGLs and watched how they do the job, and in most cases, I am not impressed with what I see. Simply because they only think they know what they're doing. Or nobody else wanted to do the job, so the highest ranked player was the one just handed the role. The purpose of this video is to help those who want to IGL and give them a guide as to what they should be doing in this position. Most people who IGL aren't taught how to properly do so. They're just winging it and learning as they go. This was, and still kind of is the case for me, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I've been doing this for 3 years now, so I have a bit of experience, so I do have some credibility, but don't take everything I say as religion. Also, a lot of what it takes to be an IGL in this game is what it takes to be a good Valorant player. Whether it be ranked or you have a team of your own that you play on, this information will help you. But first things first, to be an IGL, you have to be a good leader.
Being a leader in a video game? That's kind of cringe.
Well, yeah, but you don't need to be acting like some sort of noble figure. If you want people to listen to you, you got to be a good leader.
Nah, watch this. Hey, Neon.
Yeah.
Go intersight for me, bitch.
Bro, how about you go fuck yourself?
Wait. No! When I was in the Marines, they always expected every single person to be a leader, no matter what your rank is. This is because the harsh reality that if my leader goes down in combat, I might be the next one in line to lead the group. But the point is, no matter what position you are on your team, you should want to be a leader, because you might be needed to step up at any moment. And this is how I coach my teams. As IGL, I will get the final say on how we'll start the round. However, there will be times when I struggle to make reads and calls, and I will need the help and input from my teammates to succeed. There's a lot of things that go into being a respected leader, and all of these things go hand in hand. I'm not going to hit every single point because this would be a 10-hour video, but there's a few things that come to mind.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Confidence. Being confident builds trust and enables your team to have faith in your ability to do the right thing. Ultimately, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will, and it will show, both in results and how your teammates respond to you. Have an open mind. Listen to your team, take suggestions, and do not be stubborn. Everyone is always learning, and you are too. So acknowledge that you might not always be right. If not, nobody will feel comfortable bringing ideas to the table when needed. Decisiveness. Under pressure, someone needs to make decisions to guide the team towards victory. The worst thing you can do is nothing, and making quick decisions isn't an easy thing to do, because you won't know if it's the right or wrong decision to make. But the only way to find out and grow is to fail. So don't worry about making the wrong choice. Worry about making a choice. Accountability. Hold yourself accountable as well as your team, but never point the finger at someone when things go wrong. The leader is the one calling the shots. If things go wrong, then the leader must hold himself accountable to reflect and fix the issue. When individuals make mistakes, correct them at the correct time. Most times when someone messes up, they know, and they don't need you telling them right away how bad they messed up, because they're probably already upset at themselves and will get defensive. Wait until after the situation passes to talk about it. Attitude. Your attitude as a leader strongly influences the people around you, which is why as the leader of the group, you need to be positive and keep your composure. In many situations in life, if the guy or girl in charge of you starts to lose composure, is negative, or starts freaking out, you'd probably reflect this behavior too to some degree. Staying positive in a stressful situation is not an easy thing to do, however, simply because people will know if you're just putting on a face or not. If you can't stay positive, at least keep your composure and avoid negativity.
What's
Saying-
up?
Grenade!
Hey, son.
Careful,
Okay.
careful, careful.
I'll
Hey,
show you in a
fellas.
second. Give me a second. I'm not shooting right now. I'm lighting as shit.
No.
Lighting as shit.
DP man.
Where?
Oh
They
my
gotta be B-man. They have to be B-man.
No need to swing. No, we got numbers advantage, but we
I
have
wanna
gun
get this gun.
disadvantage.
B-man, B-man, B-man.
Look out!
B-man.
Bruh.
There.
B-man, guys. B-man. I won't go. Come.
I need it.
I
I need
think
it.
we should reset.
I
Just,
need it.
I'm sorry, father.
No, you guys fucking. We just need to fucking chill. That's all we need to do. All right, stop going crazy. We can still play safe. I don't know what happened on B, but that's fine.
There's already people on.
But if I can't IGL us through a game if I can't help Spike if I'm helping someone get a gun mid. There's small things like that. It's driving me nuts, and I'm trying not to scream mid game. Please. This team isn't shit. Like if this team was shit, like yeah, but we've been down in the hole against this team both games. Experience. Obviously, a leader needs to be experienced. They need to have a lot of time involved in whatever they're doing to have a better chance of coming up with a solution to adversity. I don't think I need to explain why a guy with years of experience in something would be a better leader than someone who just got started. There's a lot of things you can't teach, but the more time you put in, the more ready you will be for anything coming your way. Experience also positively influences other leadership traits such as confidence, decision-making, etc. Now that we talked about some of the things a leader should have in general, now let's talk about Valorant. Starting off with use of voice. Something that bothers me a lot in this game is how people use their voice to convey information. Has this ever happened to you? Using the example of Lotus, we're attacking A site here, and A site has 3 players on it. We do our regular A hit, our Raze satchels out, and while she's satcheling out, on the minimap you see somebody spotted right here in this area, but Raze doesn't see it. Now in this case, let's say you're Omen, and since you're the last one in line, you notice that there is a breach spotted right in this corner, so you call it out. Despite this comm being made, your Raze continues to run out and get killed by the guy sitting here, unexpectedly. Now, who's to blame for this? Most people would say it's Raze's fault because she failed to notice that this guy was spotted on the minimap. Now, what I would say is not Raze's fault completely. I would say you are part to blame. Well, Fonz, how is it my fault that my Raze isn't listening to me? Well, think about it. If your Raze is satcheling out on the site, getting shot at, stunned, Omen, blind, naded, all that stuff happening in her headphones, and you're back here using the most light and angelic voice ever saying, hey, if you don't look here in the next fraction of a second, you're going to die. When you're making this call out, you need to make it loud and urgent, because if you don't, then this Raze isn't gonna hear it. This is something that happens a lot. I know you want to believe that your teammates hear every little thing that you say, even when you call them out by name, but they don't. It happens all the time. which is why you need to not be afraid to use your voice and get loud to tell your teammates where they're going to die from if they don't look somewhere really quickly. Now, this is just a hypothetical scenario. This might not ever happen in this scenario specifically, but I'm sure you can think of a situation on any other map where somebody made a call out that just was falling on deaf ears and everyone just ignored it and died. And they're like, why didn't anybody tell me that they were there? And you're like, well, I did, but you decided to talk like a little quiet baby. As an IGL, you need to speak confidently and be heard. If you don't have these things, it may be difficult for your important comms to be heard as the leader. Also, another safe rule to follow is repeat things twice or even 3 times, but don't overdo it. Fight it, 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 fight it. Clear, concise comms. Short and straight to the point. You do not want to use any more words than you have to convey information, because if you do, you will either confuse the people on your team or they will miss the important pieces of information. In the realm of callouts, people usually don't have this problem. Just don't say vague things like he's there or clutter the comms with ums and uhs like there's a jet B.
Bye. Come back. Let's look at he just magic bomb.
Another issue I see with callouts is people not saying who the agent is when they see an enemy. As IGL, you need to know who is where when they appear, both friend and foe, and it is important to let the team know that you command this from them in game. This is because you can then know what to prepare for during the mid-round. A prime example of this could be spotting the enemy team's lurk player. If you see the lurk by himself on one side of the map, chances are the rest of the team is on the other side of the map trying to attack. Clear, concise comms are needed and are extremely important in the planning stages of a round as well, but we'll talk about that shortly. Scoreboard information. As an IGL, you need to hold tab and look at the scoreboard after every single round. You can pretty much make half of your plans based off the scoreboard. Is the enemy on eco? They might stack. Do they have 5100 creds? Someone might be opping. How close are they to ults? They might fight for orbs this round. Do they have any ults? They might base their plan off of their ults. The same thing applies to you. How close are we to any ults? Maybe we should go fight for an orb. We're on eco, let's stack here. Using all of this information that's literally given to you every round, you should be able to create a strat that would counter or account for these possibilities. Then based off of map and situation, you can generally read what the enemy's going to do. Pre-round planning. As the one calling the shots, your pre-round planning needs to be on point. A guide that I follow when calling strats is stating what the goal is, who's going where, and what is next. The what's next is for the mid-round, and when giving this plan, the directions must be clear, concise, and simple. At a maximum, it should take you no more than 10 seconds to state all of these things. A huge issue I see with IGLs calling strats is overcomplicating it to the point where nobody even knows what they're supposed to be doing. Or you turn your teammates into robots because you're not allowing them to think for themselves. You want to keep it short so that the rest of your team has time to talk about how they're going to actually achieve the goal of the strat. This allows your team to play the game for themselves while also following directions. For me as IGL, I say I don't care how you guys do it, just get it done. Now the goals of a strat should not include winning the round or taking a site. It's kind of obvious that you want to do these things anyways. If the ultimate goal is to take a site, for example, the first step to getting there should be taking the space we need to do so. Then that would be our goal for this strat. Then we would say what agents we want to actually do this. After that, based off the results of us taking this space, we use the what's next part to decide if we're going to go through with this plan or not. And at that point, we're in the mid-round. Once again, notice how I mentioned nothing of how these agents are supposed to take the space. That is for the team to discuss. Pre-round time management. Funny enough, the pre-round doesn't start when the round begins with 30 seconds on the clock. It begins when the entire team gets eliminated on the round prior. I follow a particular breakdown of time that can serve as a guide as to what a perfect pre-round looks like. So once the bomb is defused or the entire team is eliminated, you have about 6 to 10 seconds to talk. If anyone has a read or is picking up a pattern, this is their time to speak. During this time, the IGL should be looking at the enemy's ult eco and eco in general. New round begins. You have 5 to 10 seconds. Using the scoreboard, any reads you have, and any information your team has given you, you must create a strat, but you do not want to overcomplicate it. What's the goal? Who's going where? Then what's next? After the plan has been made, you have about 20 seconds. The team now gets the chance to talk about how we're going to get this done. For example, let's say we're defending on Lotus, and the only comms you're receiving from your team is that someone's whining about a lurker who lurks every single round. You see on the scoreboard our Killjoy has ult, and we're on an even buy round. The strat I would call in this situation is we're going to play retake on B and C with Killjoy ult, 3 people are going to play A, and 1 person's going to play B. And Killjoy will play C. This takes 5 seconds to say, and now for the remainder of the pre-round, the rest of the team can now ask questions or talk as to how they want to hold A. Once again, note that I did not tell the A players what to do specifically. If they think they can hold A by playing back, they can. If they want to push up and take A main, they can. If for some reason I think it's a bad idea, I will let them know, because I am the IGL, I will get the final say in what we're doing. This is where the trust factor comes into play. I want them to feel comfortable doing what they feel comfortable doing, which is why I'm not going to tell them how to play. This is the difference between backseating and IGLing. Mid-round guidance. What's next? The what's next in most cases either makes or breaks us as a team. This is also where I feel makes or breaks the IGL, and here's why. But first, let me tell you a story. I was never a good student in high school and slept through most of my classes pretty much, but for some reason, I remember a teacher telling our class that in one of the world wars, a president was given a battle plan that consisted of hundreds of pages. When the president had to present this plan in the briefing, he simply threw the plan in the trash and essentially said, once the bombs start flying and people start dying, this plan is going to change. And this is true about the game. This is why I say adaptability is key. You can have the most comprehensive, in-depth plan ever, but you ultimately never know what to expect from the enemy. You will have to adapt on the fly to achieve a win. And adaptability comes with time and experience. There are things that you can't always plan for, but the more you play, the better prepared you are to overcome this. In order to have a successful mid-round, you need to be proactive. Have a sense of urgency, great map awareness, and you must be able to take and retain information constantly. Every round is a unique and new experience, but using everything we already have talked about, as well as our knowledge of the game, the IGL must guide the team during the chaos of the mid-round. And if you don't know what to do, ask your teammates for guidance. Sometimes they will give you the direction you need. Being very good in the mid-round is hard and is something that you cannot teach. You need to learn it on your own. Adaptability. Valorant is a game of adapting constantly. You have to be switching up how you play on the fly if you want to have a successful round. Every round is a new round where people can use what they have learned from the previous rounds to possibly outplay. As an IGL, even on the rounds that you win, you need to be one step ahead of the opponent and continue to create new plans and caveats to your hits or defenses. This will always keep the enemy on their toes to make sure they are not comfortable in any given round. And obviously on the rounds that you lose, take note of what went wrong and why, and try to combat that. Average teams after a round win will just go with the same game plan that won them the previous round. So use that to your advantage. Don't be the ones on autopilot. Awareness. As IGL, you need to have the ability to look for and soak information in constantly. This includes actively listening to comms, checking the scoreboard, looking at your minimap, etc. Nothing is more demoralizing as an IGL than getting absolutely destroyed by something that was easily avoidable. Think about a time in game where everything was going good in a round, you guys got 2 kills, took a site, all of a sudden a guy flanked and killed 3 people, all because nobody was aware that our flank watch guy had died. Should the trip guy have said something when he died? Yes. But at the same time, it doesn't take a genius to realize when our Cypher dies, our backs aren't being watched anymore. All it takes is one aware player to let everyone know, care flank. Or what about if a Raze has her ult and we're all bundled up at the barrier, clueless to what's about to happen to us? Another thing that goes into this is minimap awareness. The more time you have in game, the easier it gets to take in info off the map and make reads. Your team sometimes won't tell you everything they see, but the minimap will. Your teammates may also not tell you where they are and the space that they've taken. So if you check your minimap and see someone walked up through a choke point, maybe you'd want to make a mid-round decision to rotate towards them. Seeing through the eyes of the enemy. A quote that has always stuck with me goes as follows: "The path of victory lies through the eyes of the enemy." The best way to outplay a person or a team is to have the ability to predict what the enemy's going to do. Humans are creatures of habit, good and bad. As IGL, you want to passively pick up on these habits, both at the individual and team level. Doing this will allow you to exploit your enemy. The more experience you have in game, the better you will be able to do this. Let's go back to Lotus. I'm going to teach you guys about a play I made called the Fawn Special and why it works. So basically the idea of this play is that nobody expects the attackers to run through B and go to C, and by doing so, catches the players on C off guard. Gecko, Breach, Raze. I will have Viper either shoot this wall immediately or wait to shoot this wall, because in higher levels, people won't instantly react to seeing this wall pre-round. because they'll think it's a fake or something. So they'll just call Viper Wall B, be careful of a B push or B lurk. There will be somebody here on high alert. Typically what the enemies will do, they'll either have 2C, 2A, 1B, or they'll have 1C, 3A, 1B. Now, once the barrier drops, these guys outside B will contact up all the way up as far as they can. Once they get here, our Viper can either come behind them, pause, or go with our Omen, who is lurking outside of C, and you'll see why in a second. Now, when we are ready to hit, one of our initiators is going to flash out, Viper Wall is going to go up, and we're immediately sprinting to Waterfall. When they hear all of this noise on B, they aren't anticipating 4 people to come out here and fight them. So they'll either not be ready, or they'll just have their knives out. And at that point, we're all out here, we're all fighting, get our kills. At that point, we'll be on C planning, and usually we'll take control of CT since we know all of C is clear. Okay, now another scenario that sometimes plays out is that we rush onto B, nobody's Waterfall, and these guys are out hitting the switch, trying to throw us off by getting a pick here. Now, this is where Omen comes in, because they're screaming, all B, all B, all B. They'll be like, okay, open the door and fight. They won't account for this Omen, usually. Unless they're really, really good players, they won't account for this. And sometimes even they rotate out so fast that the Omen will kill maybe one or both, and then we'll just run through the door instead because we know it's safer. This is just a bunch of hypotheticals, and that's the basis of this play, and it works a lot because, like I said, if you see through the eyes of the enemy, you'll know what they're probably expecting and what they're not expecting. And what I think most people don't expect is a B hit through Waterfall and on C. And it usually has a very high conversion rate.
Keep going, all the way through. Yep.
Cypher's dead.
Alright, plant for spawn, and everyone come heaven.
It's not the play.
Back up here.
No, there's 2 on me.
Wait, stay back. I have a flash. But stun.
Oh my god, beautiful.
Yeah, water.
Play up down there here.
They're both out. They're pushing CT.
Both.
Or pushing main, sorry.
I have full util. I have stun. I have
Flash.
Flash.
I got... Both left.
One enemy remaining.
Elbow. Nice.
Good pushing. I think it's unbeatable.
Another thing that goes into this category is obviously your ability to make reads. An obvious example of this is noticing if they're fast rotators or not. A higher level example is noticing if the enemy team is playing off of sound. I can't tell you the numbers of times I've been in a scrim or a league match where I've just been able to walk onto a site for free because I've noticed nobody's actually holding angles and they're only peeking off of sound cues. Lastly, let your players play and trust in your team. This one is very hard for some people, but you need to let your teammates play their own game. Give them the info that they need, but do not backseat game them. More likely than not, you will just end up confusing them, and in the heat of the moment, they will focus more on what you're saying than actually playing the game. As for comms, if your teammate calls for something, just do it and trust them. They may be right, they may be wrong, but there's only one way you're gonna find out, and if you never trust your team, then you'll probably have a bad time with them. Having an IGL isn't a dictatorship, and people should feel comfortable enough to call rotates and tell the team what we should do next. So this is a lot of information, and more than likely, not all of it. I know there's probably a ton of topics I didn't cover, but I feel like this is a good base to at least work off of. If there's anything I missed or a topic you think I should have spoken up about, feel free to comment it down below. Hopefully you find this information useful and use it to work on your own game or implement on your own. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.